Hi, everybody. I'm Deacon Dave.
Layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the
Deacon
Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show. I wasn't even sure I remembered how to do that. It's
I don't
been
think
so
we did it
long.
right.
Wow. No, that was right, wasn't it?
I don't know. I think usually we both say welcome to the Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show. I jumped in at when we started saying our names.
Oh, well, that's okay. We
We're
are out of
rusty.
practice, but if you're watching this, you could be a part of our new Spiritual Mentors program,
Yes.
or you could just be an ongoing listener.
Big fan.
Big fan of our podcast, which is now back. But what we are doing is we're going to be going through a series of books for the Spiritual Mentors program. And so if you're interested in these books, you can listen along as well.
Yeah.
So welcome, whatever your case may be.
It's good content, no matter where you are or what program you're in.
I think so, Lisa. I think you're right. And we're going to try to keep these to 5 to 7 minutes, so we'll see how we do. So the first book is called Who Am I, Lord? Finding Your Identity in Christ.
Do you know the author?
I don't know the author, but that's okay.
Exactly.
We can show the book at some point and let you know.
Okay.
So the book starts out talking about this journalist, Lisa, who's embedded within a battalion group in the Afghan war.
Okay.
You know, shortly after 9/11. So there are a lot of people that are angry, and what they're saying is, like, when you are in war like this, you develop what is called a warrior identity. And so there's many things in life that might cause us to create an identity that's other than our true and authentic identity.
Yes.
And I think we've all experienced this. So what does John Paul II say with regards to all of this?
He asks us to reflect on who am I? Where have I come from? Where am I going? We have this search for meaning built into us. And for those of you who have gone on Cursillo, this may sound familiar.
Right.
This is a central theme in many writings.
And I can say in spiritual mentoring, since we're talking about that,
Yes.
that often you will run into people who are looking for the meaning of life, looking for their purpose. And this changes depending on the season of life that they might be in. So this is certainly something that you will see in spiritual mentoring or just in conversations with people where they might be struggling with this concept.
And I think it's very common. People struggling with their identity.
I think so.
Because the world pushes us in such different directions than what the truth is.
Right, and the world wants us to have these little sub-identities and instead of our one true identity.
Yes.
So this book is built on 3 simple ideas. Okay, you cannot know how to behave unless you know who you are. And it actually uses the example of Princess Kate, okay, who went from being a commoner to becoming royalty, okay?
So then that changed her behavior?
Well, yeah, and it certainly changed, how she had to act and everything, right?
Okay.
Kind of makes sense.
Yes.
And then becoming married is another example, right? Because this creates a new dimension to your identity because the two become one.
Right.
Then what was the second simple idea?
That you cannot answer who am I without being able to answer am I created or an accident. It's not who you are, but whose you are.
No, I like that.
Yes.
And it uses the example. We all, many people have had their appendix taken out, and the appendix is considered to be useless. But as it turns out, in a 2007 Duke research, they found out that there is good bacteria that is produced for the stomach that comes from the appendix. So, like, after you get cleaned out, if you will,
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Yeah, the appendix actually relines your cells.
It's like body-made probiotics.
Yeah, so actually, while we may have thought at one time that it didn't have any purpose, right, it actually does have purpose. And this kind of implies the fact that there is a designer behind this. And so our bodies, they're not random accidents. They're actually designed with a purpose.
Right.
And I think the point here is that there's no part of who we are in our life, including our experiences, Lisa, where it's useless.
Well, that makes sense because, like, God will use our brokenness for greater things.
No, absolutely. So then what's the third thing that this book talks about?
The green point?
No, it's if you want to understand your mission and why you were created, you need to get to know your Creator.
Right. Okay. So who made me and why? And the book author, as an example, said sometimes the real why can only come from asking the author of a book.
Yeah, so you might think that you understand what it is that is the intent of an author, by reading a book, but then it could be completely different. So like oftentimes I have a specific intent for a homily that I'm giving.
Okay.
And only I know, you'd have to ask me to know what that intent is, because so often people get something else, which isn't a bad thing. They get something out of what I was saying, but it wasn't actually my intent.
Or they could think you're speaking directly to them.
Possibly. But if you want to know who you are, right? If you want to know your purpose and your meaning, then you need to get to know your Creator. And the more you get to know your Creator, the more He will tell you who you are. So
Yes.
what is the takeaway question for this first day?
How well do you know Jesus? Ask Him in prayer.
Right. So this is not you answering.
Right.
It's-
This is activation.
Yeah, it
actually.
is. It's you're asking Jesus to reveal to you, how well do you really know Him?
Yeah. And so you can ask, like, Jesus, how well do I really know you?
Right. And the answer might be quite surprising.
Mm.
Well, I am Deacon Dave.
I am layperson Lisa.
We'll see you tomorrow for episode 2.
Bye.
Bye.